And as we're clamoring for a new presidency, at least for we to serve Tinubu breakfast for his inactivity, we also have to put into cognizance that till we get rid of this, we the people of Nigeria concoction that was concocted by military generals, by military officers, we the people, because when you talk of we the people now, you ask who are the people? You not go see the people. Now military generals, by virtue of decree, that's how we have arrived at this constitution. We have to get rid of it first. That is number one. Secondly, we will have to now go back to the issue of the North. The North must have to be properly splitted based on referendum. What do I mean by this? Based on referendum in the sense that the North cannot be answering that name, the North, as an entity, as a general entity. The fact is, the middle belt concept and whatever must be respected. After that, then regional government must be introduced. That's like going back to the status quo. And this is not a message out of hate for the North, sincerely speaking. Because I believe all regions are productive and can deliver whatever they feel like delivering, as long as you take power out of these politicians that use number to just favor themselves and enslave people. Why do I say this? Looking at this whole situation now, you will get to look at it that from inception, these things that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is talking about, he is not just the first person to start talking about it. I want you to know that the first concept of jihad, the reason for fighting against jihad, it didn't even start under him. It started as far back as the 60s. Because in the words of Ademuega equally quoted that part of the reasons why they felt there was need to strike, the first whatever they did, was as a result of a perceived jihad, as a result of the activities of Sir Ahmadu Bello as the Northern Premier. Because looking at the words of Ahmadu Bello now, Ahmadu Bello actually had the ample opportunity of becoming Nigerian Prime Minister, but he declined. And he sent his lieutenant, which is Tafawa Balewa, to become his lieutenant. But he rather preferred to remain the Premier of Northern Nigeria. And I remember in his words as well, I think with Agui Rossi, or who was he having the conversation with that said we need to look beyond our differences and move ahead as a nation. But he said we need to understand our differences and live according to that. So what am I saying? The fact is, right from inception, the concept of everybody is one never existed. It never existed. But funny enough, over time now, this is the concept that is used by politicians to actually score their popularity and their elective positions while enslaving people. Do you get it? And expanding it further, looking at the concept and the way of life of people in Nigeria, we all have different concepts. The Yoruba man has a different concept before independence. The Hausa man has a different concept before independence. The Northern man has a different concept before independence. And the Igbo man has a different concept before independence. And looking at it now, just like I said, that was the reason in the words of Ademuega where he quoted that there is need for this status quo not to be maintained. And that was why they struck. Coupled with a little reasons like corruption, election rigging, and the rest of it. But that apart, the realistic thing is we must come to terms with that. Just like after the whole of this story, too many stories, too much stories to tell. After the whole of this concept now, successive governments have actually succeeded in tampering with the original Eastern region by dividing them into the what we have as Niger Delta region or whatever now, But the North was never tampered with. Was left that way. But now we have the middle belt, but middle belt actually exists in a kind of a sketchy proposal. So what I'm trying to say is, generally, sincerely speaking, if we must move as a nation, the concept of we are all one person will represent everybody and make laws that covers everybody, is a lie. It will never bring about change. Rather, it will bring about more division and more bloodshed. The Yorubas knows this more better, and even the Igbos actually understand this. But the concept of one northern Nigeria with this is actually succeeding in making these politicians just more relevant and more richer, while the abject northern man is suffering. Because going by this in terms of resources, do not have gold. They can farm. You have the Niger Delta, whatever that they have divided the East now to be. They have crude oil or whatever. But at the end of the day, in the contemporary world today, oil is not just what makes you relevant and powerful. Let's look at it. The UK doesn't have oil, but the UK is very powerful. Global power. Going by that. So you get to see that, sincerely, till we have this kind of conversation, all this concept of state police, whatever, all this state police is rubbish. And funny enough, all the candidates you have now contesting for these positions to make Nigeria better, nobody is talking about constitutional reform, believing that they are magicians. They are coming to change what Tinubu has failed to do. Let's face it, Tinubu may have failed in a lot of ways, but the reality is, there is nobody that will want to come and become the president of Nigeria and want to suffer Nigerians. But the fact is, situations are far more stronger than them, and the fact is, elective positions will make you now not to come and tell people the truth. You would rather manage those things you know you can't change and be showing strength, even when you know there is no strength. You don't have the strength to do that. And that is what is happening at the moment. And let's look at it. When you look at the concept of Nigeria generally, the concept of oneness have never existed right from inception. Until people, in the words of Sir Ahmadu Bello, understand that this difference must be respected and lived with. Because let's look at it in the North now. You look at the Northern concept. The North is just a general name. But you can't tell me that a person in Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina is thinking the same way a Benue man, an Adamawa man, a Taraba man, a Jos man is thinking. There is no relationship in any way. There is no relationship. And these are the things that must be respected and arrived at based on referendum for people to move forward. But if you think a change of presidency is what is going to bring about, and take it or leave it, just like I said, this jihad concept, in the words of Adem Wega, 1960 something, and we're still talking about it now. And the fact is, these people are gradually capitalizing on the weakness of Nigeria to actually identify the problem and forge a solution forward. And that is why, after 4 years, we come and say this president bad. Ask yourself now, why is it that we have had series of president, and none has been able to do anything? And when I talk about returning back to status quo now, some bunch of people that are ill-informed will come and say that it was the same Igbo man, Agui Ironsi, that returned Nigeria back to the way it is. The fact is, why did Agui Ironsi do that? Go and check such references. The reason he did that was because he was trying to find a way to avoid the domination of the North in politicking or whatever. And that is why he returned back to status quo. But at the end of the day, he never paid anybody. It never paid anybody because at the end of the day, the thing was not fully implemented.